Today you're Sailing Day Co-ordinator. Yours will be a management rather than a hands-on role, taking a helicopter view of the proceedings from the top deck and ensuring smooth, safe operations. It'll be necessary to fill gaps by redirecting volunteers and making decisions about the weather and processes. Aim to arrive at 8:30 and with the master key, obtained in advance or given to you on arrival, unlock the door to the passageway and the accessible bathroom. Remove the sign and put it outside. Now unlock the boat room and the cupboards, where most of our equipment is kept. Put on the Sailing Day Co-ordinator's orange jacket, which can be found in the small bin. Now sign in. Check the brown covered booking book to see how many sailors have said they're coming. This will tell you how many boats to launch. Take the weather and the number of skippers rostered on into consideration. As volunteers start arriving, it's your job to allocate the key roles. The first is Boat Operations Manager, who's responsible for taking all the equipment out of the boat shed and rigging the boats on the top deck. The Pontoon Manager is also an important role. The Pontoon Manager will be responsible for launching the boats as they arrive from the top deck fully rigged and spending most of the time on the pontoon in the water directing the boat activities. The timekeeper ensures they're set up with a whiteboard and keep track of the dinghy's sailing duration, approximately 30 minutes. Regularly check with the timekeeper, and if any boats need recalling, radio the safety boat and see that they are red flagged, giving the colour of the boat to be recalled. The registrar, who meets and greets and is responsible for general information, is a key role. It's your role with the registrar to identify the order in which sailors arrive. The safety boat skipper is then instructed to fetch Charlie's chariot from the mooring. Ask them to initiate a radio check on their way back to the end of the jetty. Appoint an observer, and before the first dinghy sets sail, have them take up position. When the first boat's been launched, it may be an opportunity for some sail training before the rush starts. This is at the Sailing Day Coordinator's discretion. As clients arrive, discuss with carers in what order they'd like their charges to sail. Ask a volunteer to help carers fit life jackets and keep sailors occupied while they wait. Watch for returning skippers and allocate suitable sailors to boats. Some have preferences, and others who are known to be challenging should be allocated to more experienced skippers. Ensure they're ready to go as soon as the pontoon manager gives the okay for them to take their turn. If a particular participant is reluctant to sail, they may be invited to take a turn on the safety boat. Radio the safety boat skipper and ask if they can come into the pontoon. If the safety boat skipper agrees, it's essential that the passengers have life jackets fitted and are ready on the pontoon when the safety boat arrives. It's fast for a fast turnabout round. When new volunteers arrive, the registrar will introduce them to the Sailing Day Coordinator, sometimes with their completed questionnaire. Greet them and check their skills and allocate an experienced volunteer to buddy with them. Let them observe or get them involved, whichever is their preference. The registrar will note their contact details for following up. It's your responsibility to see that they have a rewarding experience. Get them out on the water, if possible. During the session, the Sailing Day Coordinator keeps a careful eye on volunteers and rotates the roles to give them variety, experience and a well-earned break. Some roles are more physically taxing than others. If anyone is flagging, get them in the shade and suggest a drink and refreshment. This includes the safety boat team. Ensure the registrar's desk and the pontoon is always attended. It's a Sailing Day Coordinator's responsibility to consult with the safety boat skipper and pontoon manager, who will have input from the dinghy skippers to decide when to call a halt to sailing due to weather conditions. If this is necessary, communicate this to all present and explain the reasons. If there are booked groups in the booking group who haven't arrived, phone them and let them know sailing has been cancelled. Once all the dinghies are safely back on the pontoon, it may be appropriate to take some of the people who wanted to sail for a short ride in the safety boat. It's the Sailing Day Coordinator's decision in consultation with the safety boat skipper and carers whether to offer this, usually in very calm conditions, maximum of 5 on a boat. The Sailing Day Coordinator decides when to start packing away, based on the time and when all the sailors and volunteers who would like have been on the water. Help the registrar pack away, taking responsibility for completed forms and money, which are passed on to the secretary. Take part in dismantling the shades and gazebo and checking that the barbecue is cleaned and put away. The tables and benches are locked and the chairs stacked away. They also check that all refreshment materials are clean and stored neatly in the cupboard. While this is going on, the boat operations manager and team will be de-rigging, washing and putting away boat equipment. It's always much appreciated that if there's time, a few photos are taken and our sailors and volunteers are enjoying their sailability experience. These should be emailed to the webmaster for inclusion in the online gallery, an editor of Signal's newsletter, along with the names of those in the shop where possible. While supervising the winding down operations, the Sailing Day Coordinator mingles with volunteers and asks them how the morning was for them. Did they enjoy their role? Is there an area they'd like more training? And above all, thank them for their contribution. Write feedback and comments that would be useful in the booking book. The last job is to check the toilet and the accessible bathroom. Cleaners will clean it, but if it's blocked, write it in the booking book. Put the sign away and lock the door. Congratulations, you've been the pivot for a morning that has brought a great deal of pleasure to many people. Give yourself a pat on the back. There's another aspect to this role you may be required to address. When you see you've been nominated as Sailing Day Coordinator on the roster, call the volunteer coordinator and check. At 7 a.m. on a sailing day, check the weather by looking outside and the weather forecast for Sydney closed waters on the BOM website. Also, use sea breeze as a backup. Many of Manly Sailability members need to get starting well in advance, so a message is left on the secretary's answering machine, usually by about 7:15, to let everyone know. Discuss this with the secretary beforehand to agree a time to have this conversation. You'll be given the number and code to record this message. It must be short and clear, starting with the date and either yes, there is sailing today or no sailing due to unsuitable weather conditions. If you don't live in the Manly area, call the secretary to get a second opinion or a sailability skipper who does.